Submitted a 1.3 trillion peso proposal to build Metro Manila's next international airport.
The new Manila International Airport will soon become one of the world's largest. It has an area of 2,500 hectares. That's as big as the cities of Mandaluyong and San combined. Rising from reclaimed waters in Bulacan, the new Manila International Airport is poised to redefine travel for millions. But think even bigger. This is the heart of a 12,000-hectare aerotropolis. A futuristic urban ecosystem where runways meet residential neighborhoods, corporate hubs, industrial zones, and a vibrant seaport. This isn't just an airport. It's a city built for the sky. The end of a 50-year dream. For half a century, the necessity of replacing Manila's Ninoy Aquino International Airport, NIA, was a widely acknowledged yet seemingly insurmountable challenge for the Philippines. The dream of a new international gateway began as early as the 1970s. Born from the recognition that NIA's capacity was already being tested and would be incapable of handling the nation's future growth. This initiated a long and frustrating cycle of proposals, debates, and abandoned plans. Various locations around the capital were studied and countless blueprints were drawn up by different administrations, each failing to progress beyond the conceptual stage. This period of stagnation transformed the airport issue from a mere infrastructure problem into a symbol of national inertia, a persistent and embarrassing failure that highlighted the difficulties of executing large-scale public projects in the country. In 2024, the pressure on the Ninoy Aquino International Airport reached a breaking point when the airport handled a record and roughly 40 to 50 above its intended capacity. The new Manila International Airport represents a transformative solution to these severe capacity constraints that have long hampered the Philippines' economic potential. This multi-runway greenfield mega project is designed to serve as a world-class gateway, fundamentally resetting the nation's aviation landscape and unlocking significant growth. The primary benefit of NMIA is its massive scalable capacity. Once fully built, it will be able to handle hundreds of millions of passengers annually, providing immediate relief from the chronic congestion, flight delays, and operational bottlenecks that plague the existing infrastructure. This decade-long impasse was dramatically broken in 2019. The Philippine government under President Rodrigo Duterte did not simply approve another plan. It gave a stunning singular endorsement to the most ambitious infrastructure project in the country's modern history, the new Manila International Airport in Bulacan. The approval was particularly significant because it moved beyond the government's traditional role of solely funding such projects. Instead, it greenlit an unsolicited proposal from the private sector. This shift was crucial. It demonstrated a new political will to overcome historical obstacles by leveraging private capital, expertise, and efficiency. The approval, therefore, represented far more than just the construction of a new airport. It was a monumental policy decision that marked the end of an era of failure and the beginning of a new assertive chapter in Philippine infrastructure development. The aerotropolis. What truly distinguishes the new Manila International Airport from all previous proposals is its foundational concept. It is designed to be the core of a fully integrated aerotropolis. This powerful idea moves beyond the 20th century model of an airport as a mere transport hub, a place where planes take off and land, and reconceives it as the organized, pulsating heart of a new metropolitan economy. An aerotropolis is in essence a city consciously planned and built around an airport where every element is designed to synergize with global connectivity. Its structure is defined by concentric rings of specialized economic activity that radiate outwards from the central runways, transforming the airport from a destination into a dynamic origin point for commerce, innovation, and community. Immediately adjacent to the terminals, the innermost ring is dedicated to hyper-efficiency for global supply chains. This includes vast logistics parks, distribution hubs for major international firms, and facilities for just-in-time manufacturing that rely on rapid air freight access. The next ring outward supports the business ecosystem, featuring office campuses, conference centers, hotels, and retail spaces where global travelers can meet, negotiate, and finalize deals without leaving the zone. Farthest out are the residential neighborhoods, planned communities designed to house the thousands of pilots, engineers, logistics managers, and service employees who power this economic engine. Critically, all these concentric rings are woven together by a high-capacity network of roads, railways, and utilities, creating a seamless and efficient whole. This integrated design ensures that the aerotropolis functions as a single cohesive unit, reshaping how people live, how goods move, and how cities grow. It positions the airport not just as a piece of infrastructure, but as the catalyst for a new economic powerhouse designed to secure the Philippines' competitive future in the global economy. The design engineering a future-ready gateway. So, how do you build an airport meant to last for the next century? The design of the new Manila International Airport isn't just about being big. It's about being brilliant, resilient, and incredibly smart. Every detail has been planned to solve the problems of the past and to meet the demands of the future. Let's start with the heart of any airport, the runways. Instead of the two intersecting runways at NIA that often cause delays, the new airport will feature 4 massive parallel runways right from the start. Think of it like upgrading from a narrow, crowded village road to a wide multi-lane superhighway. But these aren't just simple strips of concrete. Each runway is being engineered to Category 4 precision standards capable of guiding in aircraft during near-zero visibility conditions using the most advanced instrument landing systems available. The parallel design means multiple planes can take off and land simultaneously without interfering with each other's airspace. Something impossible with near crossing runways that require careful sequencing. This configuration can even be expanded to 6 runways in the future, making it one of the most efficient aviation hubs on the planet. The air traffic control tower will be equipped with panoramic digital displays and integrated radar systems that can track aircraft with pinpoint accuracy across the entire Philippine flight information region. But the magic isn't just outside on the runways. It's inside the terminal. The passenger experience has been designed to be calm, effortless, and even enjoyable. The terminal itself will be a sprawling single-level structure covering a massive 350,000 square m, equivalent to approximately 70 football fields laid side by side. The layout is genius in its simplicity. It's designed as a straight, seamless flow. This means from the moment you step in to check-in, go through security and immigration, and all the way to your gate, you walk in one smooth, logical path. No more confusing twists and turns. No more long tracks between distant gates. The design eliminates bottlenecks that cause crowds and stress through several innovative features. The check-in area will feature multi-area common counters that can serve passengers from any carrier, dramatically reducing queue times. The security screening incorporates advanced CT scanning technology that allows laptops and liquids to remain in bags, speeding up the process significantly. Immigration will utilize automated biometric gates that use facial recognition technology to verify identities in seconds rather than minutes. The departure lounges are being designed with passenger comfort as the priority. High ceilings flood the space with natural light, while carefully planned acoustics dampen the usual airport noise. Even the boarding gates are innovating with dual boarding bridges for wide-body aircraft that can load twice as many passengers simultaneously. Perhaps the most incredible engineering challenge, however, lies beneath it all. The entire airport is being built on land reclaimed from the sea. Building on soft, unstable marine clay requires extraordinary measures. Engineers are driving approximately 30,000 extra L-long heavy-duty piles, some reaching up to 75 m deep through the soft soil until they hit a stable layer of earth. That's like building the airport on top of a forest of concrete trees buried deep underground. But the foundation work goes even further. The reclamation process itself used an innovative technique called preloading with vertical drains. Thousands of these drainage channels were inserted deep into the clay before layers of sand were placed on top. The weight of this sand squeezes the water out of the clay through the drains, accelerating what would normally take decades of natural compaction into just a few months. And because it's built right on the coast, the design must be ready for a changing climate. The entire site is being raised to 5 m above mean sea level, significantly higher than the current sea level and above the worst-case scenario, storm surge projections. The perimeter is protected by a 4.5 km wall built with specially interlocking concrete blocks designed to dissipate wave energy. Beneath the surface, a sophisticated network of drainage canals and pumping stations capable of moving millions of liters of water per hour will act like a shield, protecting the airport from flooding during intense typhoons. The runways themselves incorporate special porous asphalt mixtures that allow water to drain through the surface rather than pooling, while the terminal building foundations are mounted on seismic isolation bearings that allow the structure to move safely during earthquakes. The construction triumphs and troubles. The construction of the new Manila International Airport begins with an almost magical act of creation, making new land from the sea. The project required reclaiming over 2,500 hectares of water into solid ground. This meant pouring enough sand to fill thousands of Olympic-sized swimming pools into the shallow waters of Manila Bay. The process alone was a massive logistical operation requiring a fleet of specialized dredging ships that worked around the clock. But creating the land was just step one. The real engineering marvel was making it stable enough to support massive airport structures. The soft muddy clay beneath the reclaimed sand is like a giant wet sponge that compresses under weight. To create a solid foundation, engineers drove tens of thousands of concrete piles deep through this unstable layer, some as long as a 25-story building is tall, until they reached the solid ground far beneath. The entire site is also covered with a sophisticated network of vertical drains that act like straws, squeezing water out of the clay to accelerate settlement that would naturally take decades. This process is constantly monitored by hundreds of sensors that track the ground's movement with millimeter precision, ensuring the foundation settles evenly and safely. This massive transformation of the coastline has created serious troubles that cannot be ignored. The very process of dredging and reclamation has stirred up enormous amounts of sediment, creating a blanket of silt that has settled over nearby fishing grounds. For the local fishing communities in Bulacan, this hasn't been just an inconvenience. It's been a threat to their very livelihood. Many fishermen report that their daily catch has dropped dramatically, sometimes to zero, as fish populations have either moved away or been affected by the changed water conditions. Families that have fished these waters for generations now face an uncertain future. Environmental experts have raised additional concerns about the long-term impact on the coastal ecosystem. The reclamation has altered natural water flows and potentially affected the breeding grounds for various marine species. There are questions about how the changed coastline might affect the pattern of floods in adjacent areas during the storm season. Perhaps the most profound challenge comes from the changing climate itself. The airport is being built just meters above sea level in a country that experiences some of the strongest typhoons in the world. While engineers have designed protective sea walls and raised the airport's level, some climate scientists worry about whether these measures will be enough to protect the airport decades from now as sea levels continue to rise. They point to other airports built on reclaimed land around the world that have faced unexpected flooding and settlement issues. The construction process has also faced practical challenges. The reported departure of international dredging company Boskalis from the project raised questions about technical difficulties and timelines. While other contractors have continued the work, it highlights the complex nature of such massive undertakings, where even experienced companies can encounter unexpected obstacles. Despite all these, there are still more challenges ahead. The future, regional competition, and climate challenges. The story of the new Manila International Airport isn't just happening in isolation. It's part of a much larger regional transformation. Across Southeast Asia, countries are racing to build the airports of the future, and the Philippines is determined not to be left behind. This isn't just about keeping up with neighbors. It's about securing a competitive position in the regional economy. Vietnam is building Long Th International Airport in Dong Nai Province, 40 kilometers east of Ho Chi Minh City, at a cost of nearly 16 billion. Designed in phases, its first stage will serve about 25 million passengers, ultimately expanding into a 100 million passenger hub across 5,000 hectares. Thailand is developing its 9 billion Utapao Eastern Aviation City, transforming a former military field into a modern commercial hub with expanded runways, cargo terminals, maintenance, manufacturing zones, and airport city amenities. Planned road and rail links to Bangkok aim to boost tourism, logistics, and foreign investment while creating thousands of jobs. Cambodia is constructing the Techo International Airport outside Phnom Penh on an even larger land area than Manila's project, featuring multiple runways, expansive cargo terminals, and integrated rail and road links. Its first phase became operational on September 9, 2025, marking a major regional infrastructure milestone for decades to come. This regional aviation race reflects a simple truth. Countries that control major air hubs capture more tourism, more investment, and more global business connections. The new Manila International Airport represents the Philippines' bold bet that it can compete directly with these emerging giants and establish itself as a premier aviation destination in Southeast Asia. But even as this competition drives progress, a much larger challenge looms on the horizon. Climate change. The airport's location on reclaimed land in Manila Bay makes it particularly vulnerable to the effects of a warming planet. Scientists have raised serious concerns about two interconnected threats: sea level rise and land subsidence. As global temperatures increase, polar ice melts and ocean waters expand, causing sea levels to gradually rise. At the same time, the reclaimed land beneath the airport may slowly sink, a process called subsidence, which has affected other major development projects on similar foundations. Together, these forces could pose significant challenges to the airport's long-term operation and safety. The project's engineers point to the sophisticated protective measures they've implemented. The elevated runway system, the extensive SO walls, and the advanced drainage systems. They note that the airport has been designed to withstand even extreme weather events. But some climate scientists question whether these solutions will be sufficient decades from now as climate impacts intensify. They point to the experience of Japan's Changi International Airport, another famous airport built on reclaimed land, which has required constant and expensive engineering interventions to address sinking and flooding issues. The ultimate question isn't just whether the airport can open successfully, but whether it can remain operational and economically viable throughout its planned 50-year lifespan and beyond. This will require not just strong initial engineering, but ongoing adaptation and investment as climate conditions change. The airport's future may depend on our ability to not only build for the climate of today, but to anticipate the climate of tomorrow. The new Manila International Airport thus stands at the intersection of two powerful forces: the competitive drive toward economic development and the relentless pressure of environmental change. Its long-term success will be measured not just by how many passengers it serves or how it ranks regionally, but by how well it navigates the complex challenge of building a future-proof infrastructure in an era of climate uncertainty. BOT Building the Future. A build-operate-transfer or BO contract turns large public projects into a partnership where private money, expertise, and risk-sharing make significant things happen. In a B deal, a government grants a private company the concession to finance, design, build, and run an infrastructure project for a fixed term, often 2 or 3 decades, after which control returns to the public sector. The private party typically forms a special purpose company for the job, secures financing, and relies on future operating revenues to recoup investment. BO projects are usually greenfield undertakings: highways, power plants, wastewater facilities, or entire airports and their surrounding developments. During the operating period, revenue often comes from a single contractual committed source, an offtake purchaser. Power purchase agreements illustrate this. A government utility agrees to buy electricity from a private plant, guaranteeing predictable cash flow and making lenders comfortable backing the project. The appeal of BO is straightforward. By shifting upfront costs and many construction risks to the private sector, governments can deliver world-class infrastructure without piling on public debt. Private operators bring project management discipline, commercial incentives to finish on time and under budget, and the operational know-how needed to keep assets productive. But the model carries real risks. Poorly written contracts, weak regulation, or over-optimistic revenue forecasts can leave taxpayers exposed or slow development. The new Manila International Airport offers a concrete example. A private conglomerate won the right to finance, build, and operate the airport and its aerotropolis for a 50-year concession, assuming financial and operational risk while the facility is in private hands, then handing it back to the government at the concession's end. For the Philippines, that structure promises a modern gateway and a long-term economic engine without diverting funding from health or education. For the developer, it provides a long runway literally and figuratively to recover costs and earn returns. Ultimately, BO is a pragmatic financing and delivery strategy. It leverages private capital and skills to accelerate major infrastructure, ties returns to performance during an operating window, and returns public ownership at the end. Oversight, clear performance metrics, community engagement in construction and operation protect public interest. A careful transfer ensures the asset returns to public control in good working order with trained local staff ready to operate it. The impact: economic transformation. The new Manila International Airport is more than a transportation project. It's an economic catalyst designed to transform the entire region. The project's impact extends far beyond the boundaries of its runways, promising to create waves of economic opportunity while raising important questions about who will benefit from this development. At the heart of the economic promise is job creation. The construction phase alone is expected to generate over 100,000 direct jobs from engineers and construction workers to equipment operators and administrative staff. But the real employment boom begins once the airport becomes operational. Experts project that the airport and its supporting businesses will create over 1 million direct and indirect jobs in the coming decades. These aren't just airport jobs like pilots, cabin crew, and ground staff. Though there will be thousands of those. The economic ripple effect will create opportunities in hospitality, retail, logistics, manufacturing, and services. Restaurants will need more staff. Hotels will require more cleaners and receptionists. And logistics companies will need more warehouse workers and delivery drivers. This massive job creation could transform entire communities, providing stable incomes and career paths for generations of families in Bulacan and surrounding provinces. The airport's potential to boost tourism and attract foreign investment represents another major economic benefit. The Philippines has long been recognized for its incredible natural beauty and welcoming culture. But inadequate airport infrastructure has limited its tourism potential. With a modern, efficient airport capable of handling 100 million passengers annually, the country could potentially double its tourist arrivals. More tourists mean more spending on hotels, restaurants, tours, and souvenirs, creating a virtuous cycle of economic activity that benefits countless small businesses across the country. For foreign investors, a world-class airport signals that the Philippines is open for business and ready to compete globally. Companies looking to establish regional headquarters or manufacturing facilities often prioritize locations with excellent air connectivity. The new airport could attract investments in industries ranging from electronics manufacturing to business process outsourcing, creating high-quality jobs and transferring valuable skills to the local workforce. Already the airport effect is visible in the surrounding region. Property values in Bulacan and nearby areas have begun rising significantly as investors and developers anticipate the economic boom. New residential subdivisions, commercial centers, and industrial parks are being planned along the transportation corridors connecting to the airport. This development pattern follows what urban economists call the aerotropolis model, where cities naturally grow around major aviation hubs. However, these economic benefits come with important questions about equity and distribution. While property owners and investors may benefit from rising land values, local residents with fixed incomes may face rising living costs. The promised trickle-down effect of economic development doesn't always reach everyone equally. There are legitimate concerns about whether displaced fishing communities will be able to participate in the new airport economy or if they will be left behind.